Welcome to this new how-to. In this how-to we're going to look at how you can use the B78XH hotel, also known as the B78710 Heavy, created by Heavy Division in combination with Simbrief, because they have Simbrief integration added to their solution. So to use that, we first need to create a flight plan, and to do that, of course, we need to use Simbrief because we're talking about Simbrief integration. We're gonna use KLM as the airline because I already selected the KLM delivery for the B787, which has been added as part of World Update number 4. We're gonna depart from Amsterdam Airport, and our destination will be John F. Kennedy. So that's nice. Next thing we need to do is, of course, select the correct airplane. So I'm gonna zoom and search B78710. That will make sure that the advanced aircraft options are loaded, like the descent profile, the cruise profile, and the climb profile, and also the fuel factor. And it allows you to modify the ATC call sign and the registration information, etc. if you want to change it. Besides that, we have the optional information like the scheduled flight time, the departing runway, the arrival runway, and that's automatically being selected. Taxi out and in, that's for the fuel piece, the extra fuel which you want to take, and the altitude is set to auto. Same thing is for the passengers, cargo has been set to 0. 0 fuel weight also has been set to auto, so it will be automatically calculated. You can change it. For example, it's really important if you add cargo to the airplane, you need to do the recalculate all the stuff, because then you will probably need to take a little bit more fuel with you to handle all the stuff. Captain name is fine. Pilot ID, that's one thing you need to remember, because you can either use the pilot ID or the username from Simbrief within the flight simulator to configure the Simbrief integration. So now that all has been done, it has generated the plan. As you can see, I'm using the 2003 AirAC cycle, which is outdated. But keep in mind that if you want to use a newer version, you need to have a subscription with our friends from Navigraph, which also bought Simbrief. So keep that in mind. Scrolling down, we can see the flights. So we're flying over the UK, then over the ocean, and then we're flying to John F. Kennedy. You would have expected that it would fly a little bit more north, but this is also fine. We can switch on the multiple options here if you want. For example, if we want to see the VORs, we can enable that, but that will create a lot of additional things. Same thing is for the airports. You can switch on all the airports. Thing you can do is also say, okay, I only want to have these airports, the ALTANs or the ETOPS. Right, so you can see it's a little bit different coloring. It really depends on what you want to see. And of course, you can zoom in and zoom out. The other options, nets and PACOT tracks. So the North Atlantic tracks, which are here. So you can see them. So these are the North Atlantic tracks. They will activate one per, I think it's per week or something, and that's the path they're going to use for all the North Atlantic traffic. You see we've got both east and west, and currently we're flying west, so we're using this track. You can disable it if you want. And then we've got the PACOTs, which is the Pacific tracks, which you probably won't see because we don't zoom into the Pacific. And we also have the Australian OTS tracks specifically for the Australian part. But that's not what we're going to use because we're flying from Europe to the US. So scrolling down, if everything is fine, you can go up and say generate OPF, OFP, sorry. And then it will warn you if you want to override the previous plan. So we're going to override it. So it generates all the stuff. So if we're zooming down now, you can see that it has added some circles. It has added the waypoints which we're going to visit. And if we would scroll down, we can see a lot of more information like the departure time, the arrival time, the distance, of course. When we're scrolling down further, we see the planned fuel, so how much fuel we need, and in which section of the flight, so for example, during taxiing or during the flight itself, how much fuel do we need, and how much fuel will be left in the aircraft. Some alternate information, right? If we need to have an alternate route for some reason. Routing ID contains all the information, right? This is the departing runway. Then we've got the Berg I1S, and then we've got the beacons. The same thing on the other side. We've got the destination airport and the other items like the star route. For the departing airport, we've got the SID, the standard instrumental departure route. The impacts. You can, or normally you would note those numbers during the flight to make sure that you're still on track. And then here's the rest of the stuff, right? So here are all the waypoints and the SIDs and stars being shown here. It's a pretty long list, as you can see. And then the ETOPS and the ETP critical point information shows you some information about the fuel, the conditions, the entries about the ETOPS, and the wind information during climbing, descending. So a lot of information, which we'll probably have a closer look at in one of the future recordings, because there's a lot of text, as you can see, but it's nice to know where you can use this data for. So enough seen from Simbrief, so let's switch to a flight simulator. I'm already in the cockpit, and the first thing you need to do is configure the Simbrief integration, and to do that you need to click on the Heavy button, which is located here. Let me zoom out a bit. Then you can go to configuration, and as already expected, you see Simbrief here. You can type in the username or the user ID, and one of them is enough. And once you've done that, you can either go back or you can press the RTE button, and the RTE button will bring you to the route and will have the option request, and then you can press send. And then it says load FP from SB, so load flight plan from Simbrief. You press the option, and then it will go to a step-by-step plan. It sometimes takes some time, so give it some time before it's ready. Okay, select desired waypoint. Not sure which one this is, so let's select VOR for now. Yeah. So as soon as we did that, you can see that it sets the originating airport, the destination airport. It will set the flight number. That's all based on the Simbrief data. Keep in mind that it doesn't set an alternate route because we didn't configure one in Simbrief. So be aware of that. If we would now go to departure and arrival, we will have both IHAM and Kilo, KGFK, so Kennedy, John F. Kennedy Airport, and you can select the SIDs if you want to change them, and also the runways, right? So to select the correct runway, you can tune into the ATIS channel and select it, and the same thing is for arrival. Once you are assigned runway and arrival route, so a star route, transition route, then you can go to arrival, select the correct runway, and select the star which has been assigned to you. If we go into the lags, you can see that the multiple waypoints have been added. In addition to that, it has added the flight levels and the expected altitude. Keep that in mind. If you want to scroll to the map, you can press next. It will continue. Keep in mind that these are the flight levels defined in the flight plan. However, it could be that the ATC assigns different flight levels which you need to obey, because else you will be kicked out of your IFR flight. That's it though for now. We don't have an alternate location defined, and as you can see in the current release, the alternate button also doesn't work yet. In the A32NX that won't work, so I expect this one to work pretty soon. Hope you liked this video. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you've got questions or comments, then please post them below the video in the comment box. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.